All right, so today I have Marina Villatoro, and she comes from one of our other speakers who is also a day trader, and she works with people who are mainly just getting started. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for having me, Marnie. I'm Marina Villatoro, or a lot of people just know me as Marina the Trader Chick. Um, I'm originally a refugee from the Soviet Union, but raised in the United States. And I have now been an expat living in Central America for almost 20 years. So very international, I guess.
That's
I
awesome.
have for over 20 years as well, and have begun my, I guess, online entrepreneur journey almost 12 years ago when I first began a travel website,
Mhm.
which talked mainly about my family and my travels. We lived first in Costa Rica, and now we live in Antigua, Guatemala. So it kind of became my main business for a very long time. And after a little while, when you've given all you can to a business, you either take it in one direction or you do something different. And I've always wanted to do day trading. And I decided this was the time for me to really immerse myself in day trading. And about 8 years ago is when I fully jumped into the world of day trading and learning how to day trade, and now have been a day trader and a day trading educator for over 4 years, but day trading for 8 years in total.
Awesome. And you've also done some TEDx's recently, right? With some kids? Tell us more
Oh,
about
right. So I teach in my kids' school. They
that.
go to a progressive type of a school, but even progressive schools don't have the full modern education that I believe in. And I started teaching entrepreneurship for kids course. And 2 years ago, I became a TEDx organizer, right? I built a TEDx, but I'm one of the only TEDx organizers in the world that actually did it with kids, teens specifically, with the class that I teach, the Entrepreneurship for Kids class. That was our final project. So 2 years ago, we built a TEDx all around social entrepreneurship and what it is, and we had awesome speakers, and we also were one of the only TEDx in the world that did it outside in this gorgeous farm. I think there's only one other TEDx that is outdoors, which is a big challenge, but it was great. It worked out. Everything was perfect.
That is really, really cool. That's awesome. So tell us, in your business, how do you get clear on the things that you want to do? What helps you with clarity, and how can you share that with our attendees today?
Clarity is, I think it's king, right? Because we can wake up and we have all these ideas and we want to do everything, but unless we get super crazy laser clear, you're not going to do a single thing. I am very multi-passionate. As you could hear, I have many different businesses, but unless I sit down and really focus on what I'm going to do that specific day for whatever that big project can be, it won't get done. And usually I do that with to-do lists. I know that sounds kind of cliche and pretty much everybody says they do that, but honestly, they work. They really work. And you could do many sorts of to-do lists. I could have like my main to-do list, right? Maybe for a certain project within one of my businesses. But then I have to totally break it down. And even then, I could break it down into even more steps, like tiny little steps. And that's the only way I will get it done, like one at a time. So that's been really helpful. That's actually really the only way I actually could do anything, period, is to really, really break it down and get it done, basically, right? I read in one book, I can't remember which book it was, but sometimes unfinished projects weigh more on you than when you're finished, right? And we have a tendency to have so many projects, but they're unfinished, and all they do is weigh us down. So it's really important to get it done. And that's a challenge sometimes, but that's how I get it. I work with it, right? Is just breaking it down and finishing it and then moving on to the next one.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we'll talk later about entire tasks because I think that's going to be a good fit for you.
Yeah.
But tell
Oh,
us,
awesome.
yeah, tell us more about, or rather, tell us about willpower and power. So, for instance, as you know, in business, things aren't always perfect every day, right? Sometimes things really suck. And how do you find the power to continue on or to power through something that's really difficult?
Yeah, well, that could be a real challenge. I mean, it's like those ups and downs, right? Sometimes, well, it's really important for me. What I do is I have it written down, like my big picture, my why, the reason I'm even doing this, and what I want to do. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes it really, you just don't even want to get out of bed, But I have this rule that, I don't want to say that we follow to the T, but it's called like the 5-minute rule. Basically, you get to feel sorry for yourself, you get to feel like shit for 5 minutes, but then guess what? It's time to move on, right? Because if you
The
keep on
show
feeling
must,
bad, you're just going to go in the wrong direction. Obviously, it's not 5 minutes, sometimes it could last a couple of hours,
sure.
but on a whole, that helps.
Kind of
You
like,
permit myself,
it's kind of like the show must go on, right? Get over it.
basically. Yeah. Yeah. You totally have the right to feel sorry for yourself. And yeah, it sucks. Sometimes it really sucks. But what are you going to do? You can't stay in that sucky mode. You could either fix it or give up. And giving up is not an option, really. I mean, if you do, then that's a whole other story, right?
That's for another summit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And so, share with us also, like the structures that you put in place to help you follow through. So you've got your lists, and now you've got your power, and you're ready to go. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing. You've got the strength to do it. What helps you to actually follow through on those things that you commit to?
So it's taken me a really long time to, I guess, I don't know if it was resistance or maybe not really finding the right fit, but I've been hiring some people to help work with me, not just like the ones like the VA. I have that, those assistants. But for instance, I have an affiliate manager that helps set me up with many different summits and presentations that are in my field, which I didn't even know existed. I met her, I don't want to say serendipity, but it was kind of a serendipity type of a thing, right? There's no coincidences, but so she was like a gift to me. And that really just took me in a whole new direction with my business. And then I just recently hired a business coach, but it's a very one-on-one business coach. I mean, like I meet with her several times a week. She's totally changed my life, and she's really helps keep me on track. And not because she tells me what to do, because I know what needs to be done, but I will like find ways to go around it because it's stuff that I don't really enjoy but have to do. So she helps me with it. And I have to say, like, it's changed my life. And I've only been working with her for 2 months. And just that commitment that I work with her, I told her, like, I'm gonna suck her dry. Like, we literally talk like 5-6 times a week, and it's really, I tell her now I don't know what my life is going to be like without her. So my goal is to make money so I can keep on hiring her over and over again.
Yeah,
But that's just been really helpful. I know that some people can't afford that, but there are accountability groups. But I've had a lot of accountability partners. When you put money in the works, even it doesn't have to be a lot, you just feel more committed. You just have to show up, because then you're really like a total loser, right? You're paying all this money and not even doing the work, and it's all about you. So I have to say that that's been huge. Working with affiliate manager who's been really helping me, and now with my business coach, and this is just the beginning. So as much as I build, the further I'll be able to go. But also working with like the building of the TEDx.
Yeah.
That was every possible element you could possibly imagine had to be put together. And working with people that knew, like, had their specialties really helps. So you could do that for your business. Hire people that are specializing in certain parts of your own business that you do not have to, it's not your strength, right? You could focus on your strengths. And that's something that I recognize really makes a difference. And you hear about it all the time. Oh, work with rock stars and blah, blah, blah. But until you do it, you don't really get to understand how important it really can be.
No, absolutely. I'm with you 100%. I have 3 coaches and they're not inexpensive.
Right. But they
And
really help. They really make a difference.
absolutely, absolutely. And they've taken me to a place that, you know, I never even thought that I would be. So yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you there. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Marina. Now, why don't you tell us about the free gift that you have for our people who are listening here today too?
Okay, so day trading is, I obviously day trade, but the reason why I even became a day trading educator was I recognized that nobody at all was talking to beginners. Nobody talks to beginners. Every academy, every educator, it's kind of like, I feel like, and I've spent thousands of dollars on my trading education, and you name, I've done it all. And every time I feel like I'm entering into a new academy, a new trade room, it's like a musician that says, hey, I want to learn how to play the flute. And instead of starting from the very first place, you know, sitting down and learning the notes, you kind of get into these academies and thrown into like the symphonic pit and saying, all right, it's time, keep up. And you don't even know where the notes are. And I find that that's a really huge problem on many levels, right? First of all, sometimes people just don't even understand what's going on, and they need to start at the super beginning. Another thing, you might spend all this money and realize, wait, this isn't even for me. Another one, and this is the worst of them all, people get into these academies, trade rooms, and they don't really understand what's going on. But if the moderator says that these are good trades, then it must be, and then they're getting in live. And it's kind of like starting to drive a car without ever knowing how to even turn it on. You're going to crash, right? If you accidentally turn it on, you're going to crash. And so what I recognized was that when I was going through this, nobody was helping me. I was asking all these questions in the beginning, and everybody was like blowing it off as if though I was born with that information. And we're not. And when, after losing too much money and recognizing, coming back and just realizing that I never fully understood the basics and went to learn the basics, that changed everything for me. And that's why I specialize in helping total beginners. A lot of people who maybe want to try it, but they're so scared because it's risky or they don't understand. I help them get over it. I've mastered the art of simplifying it. Like, anybody could learn to trade. I could teach anyone. And it's really amazing as a side thing, because you could only really fully trade for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't even think you could do 2 hours per day. It's just too much of a mental, physical activity that you're. So after you learn your strategy and understand how to do it, you only need is an hour and a half, you know, and it's a fantastic side thing for entrepreneurs. Excellent. Or mothers or fathers, somebody who just wants to do it on the side, or if you're a traveler, you don't need that much time to learn. So what I do is I focus on helping complete beginners, and I could take it from zero to almost pro trader. So that's my specialty. And I have a freebie helping starting complete beginners. It's a free mini course called Simplifying Day Trading. So yeah, you can find that on my website, thetraderchick.com.
We're going to put a link down below here, so you won't have to hunt around for it. It'll be right there. Well, that's great. Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the summit today. And I thought that, you know, some of the stuff that you shared was really, really cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It was fun. Thanks, everybody.
You bet. Bye-bye.